Yes,
supporters out there that are also, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was quite surprised. On Friday morning, I'm having my Crispies. I've been to the gym, and on the ABC News there was a comment by Laurie Marr, the Mayor of Gosford, saying, yes, this would be a good idea. So I did a bit of Googling, and I discovered that the press release had come out from Doug Eaton, the Mayor of Wyong, supporting the concept of this airport. And then when I got into the office, I had that press release too. And the two mayors have come out very much in favour of this second airport for Sydney, and up around the Peach Ridge Mangrove Mountain area. So that's, to me, that's a
well, we know it
wouldn't
be certainly wouldn't be Watervale, but yeah, that was the area that the only comment I've had from a couple of people say, don't forget the fog. It does get prone to a bit of fog sometimes, but I think even Sydney Airport's closed occasionally with fog.
Yeah, I think it's the days of fog being a big issue with these modern aircraft isn't quite what it used to be.
Oh, silly thing. Yeah. Of course, they've got radar these days, haven't they?
They've got all sorts of
sonar.
These planes can land themselves. They don't need a pilot.
They've got all this technology that wasn't around 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
When fog was raised as an issue about when it was, I think, first proposed back in the 70s. About the airport at Somersby.
That's right, that was one of the things. But I've since read some of the reports on Somersby and how Badgerys Creek came about. And the more you read it, the more it was all a political stunt to get it off the thing and go to Badgerys Creek. And then it was never, I think it was never really going to happen at Badgerys Creek.
Well, that's been signed, sealed and delivered off the agenda entirely now. I think they're going to sell Badgerys Creek for land. Housing land, aren't they?
Well, they'll make a squillion out of that.
Now, what are the benefits about having an airport here? I mean, we're going to have the naysayers that say there's going to be more pollution in the air, but what are the economic benefits for each and every individual? Not large corporations, but what is there?
The real benefits, Peter, it's a well-known fact that airports are economic engines.
Right.
They generate all sorts of economic benefits, and not least of all jobs, of course. And the jobs they create is from low skilled, or almost no skilled, to the highest of skills.
Gotcha.
And so, we've got a lot of people who actually work at that airport and work in the aviation industry, but they all travel to Sydney from here. So, so first of all, there'll be jobs. But in my opinion, you've got to remember that at the present moment, the Central Coast is going through a jobs drought, and there's not a lot of confidence. An announcement like this would change everybody's thinking. It would be the greatest confidence booster of all times.
Right, okay.
That's the big thing.
That's called a stimulus.
It's a stimulus on its own, just the announcement. And of course, bear in mind, when we talk about this airport, it's got to have links. And so there has to be a transport corridor to link it. And so they're going to have to build a new expressway, they're going to have to, and a train line, which is the route for a possible route for a fast train.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So so the construction of this thing before the first plane flies, the construction will be enormous. I would imagine that the day that this could be announced, the property valuers would all be out there valuing property. You get my point? Right from day one, and then the surveyors would be out there. So.
Now we're almost talking as though it's a lay down.
No, it's not a lay down mosaic.
Just recapping those who just joined us, there is growing speculation that the Central Coast area may be announced as the location for Sydney's next airport. There's a report, I think, that's due sometime in the
next
few
months.
Yeah, the first quarter of the new financial year.
That's right.
The various options that are there. And I mean, we've been talking about anywhere from Canberra to Goulburn to Williamtown.
That's right.
Did Orange get mentioned? I don't know.
I don't think so. But the thing is that the big issue is that it's got to be. The airlines want it to be as close to a capital city as possible.
Sure. Yeah.
And so that's the big issue. And frankly, keeping it outside the Sydney airspace, which is controlled by Macquarie Airports, this is there.
And when you say that, what a requirement of Macquarie in their contract with Sydney Airport is a total control of any airport activity within that 50
airspace.
Ks.
Actually, it's 100 K.
Okay. Oh, 100 K.
Yeah, I think I might have said 50 K last week, 50 miles, 100 K.
Well, we're outside of that.
Well, we're outside of it. Yes, we are. We're just outside. That's the beautiful thing.
Oh, okay.
We're just outside of that, and of course, where it could be sited. there is no noise issues. You know, it's about...
Except for the chooks.
Except for the chooks.
That's right.
Yeah.
We might see a decline in chook
population.
Population,
well,
yeah.
That's another issue, isn't it?
Nevertheless, there is a benefit there.
And I think that you would find a lot of businesses who would be saying to themselves, "Gee whiz, we ought to relocate our businesses up to Gloucester, the Swale, the Central Coast." Because airports do create that sort of environment where people want to be close by, and so I think it's got a lot of things going.
A lot of potential.
And the big issue will be noise, but as I was looking, carry on is, which would be say the planes were going to fly there. It's about 6 k's as a direct line
from carry on.
From carry on. And that's if but you don't know which way the airstrips would go.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't even see that the planes would be flying over the carry-on. So that's the point. It's 1,000 metres above sea level in that part of the world.
Well, I'm sure the designation, all that would be some sort of plan, and it would allow. I probably need about 2 years for protests to wind up and. Yeah.
Well, I think we've got to, like I know there's some protesters on TV on Saturday night about the Gosford Primary School. I can't quite fathom why people want to stop any form of progress. No. And we do live in a new
unalienable right to protest. I've got to say.
Oh, everyone has a right to protest, and I do my own protesting.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with everything that people want to do. I've got to say. But there are certain, I think, as Confucius once said, words to the effect is it's the community good that should count.
The benefit.
Yeah.
Well, we'll hold our breath and we'll keep people up to date with regard to any progress there in regard to the prospect of our local region being earmarked for the next Sydney airport. So, all very exciting. I think it's very exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
For the kids and for kids' jobs in the future.
Oh, yes.
And it'll be easier to travel overseas when we retire, Edgar, by just nipping up to Summersby.